Here's what the future is looking like, people. So I put out a record called Gaia. Quite thrilled with it. It's the first Celestine of the Stars record. And I guess what this means is, I mean, Cascade will still have its uploads and whatever, but Cascade was never meant to be an animus of me, right? It was made to be that auditory filing cabinet for the imperfect, machinations of my musical creation. And then with Gaia, I created something. I was like, this can really represent. This can really represent the comprehensive image of who I am. Like this is a part of me, right? And yeah, it's definitely a step up from a lot of the other stuff. Uh, Cainozoic was almost the first. For Lore was almost Celestine of the Stars record, but they narrowly missed that mark. And Gaia's not a perfect record. I'll never make a perfect record. I'm not a musician. It's not who I am. But I am someone that creates music. I engage in the process of creating music. But this is the cutoff point. I want more records like Cainozoic and For Lore. I want more records like, I don't know, like Gaia or whatever. I want more records like, I don't know, The Final Cut or Astralis or In My Room. I want those sorts of albums in a sort of visionary way where it's like I have a concept, I have an idea, I want to put it out there, right? And I want to do it well, or like instrumentals. But I have roadblocks in execution. I don't have the correct equipment to do things as adequately as I'd like all the time, and that's okay, right? I'm not entitled to that. I will do with what I can, but yeah, the whole thing from here on out, and I guess it's kind of been my it's been my ethos of creation for years by this point. That or not years, but for a few months by this point. At this point, like, I don't know. You shouldn't. You have a duty as a creator to authentically put something out there as you see fit. And like the electronic music, I can do that more adequately, and there will be more of that to come. The thing with like the instrumental music is, it's great. I like making it. I have a lot of fun making it. Um, I just need to have worthy enough ideas, and I like lyrics. I like spoken word music, and things like that. But I don't like my voice, and I don't think that it's a necessary component. I don't think it's part of what makes Cascade redeemable, something defensible to exist, right? I don't think people listen to Cascade for the, you know, lyrics or whatever, as good or bad as they may be. And so I'll probably create distance. And the thing with doing like spoken word albums is, it's like you have to deliver these lines with a seriousness, or with a sort of, I don't know, a teleological purpose. And that just, I don't have the voice for that. It's not my, it's not my forte. And the stories I tell in my the stories I've wanted to tell in my music, I think I've already told. I've had commentary about all sorts of things, and I've made my stance on a lot of things very clear. And so I've accomplished vocally what I want to do with Cascade, and I've made my capabilities more than clear. I've shown my strengths and my weaknesses. I've shown improvement in that realm. I've utilized falsetto. I've utilized vocal grave. Cainozoic has screaming on it. Um, you know, I've done things that have sounded bad. I've done things that have sounded okay, I think. I've done things that could use improvement. I've done things to the best of my ability at the time. And so I don't think I have anything else to do in that realm that I want to do at the moment. And I don't have a story I feel worth telling for the time being. But instrumentally, I have so much I want to explore and I want to cover. And I have so many things I want to do. I have so many visions for music that I want to write, that I want to be the torchbearer of. That I can't stop. I could not tell you with dignity that this is where I have to wrap my head around. Some people may look at those older records, even the first couple records. I put out years of disastrous music. And there are people that do exist. My friend Jacob's a great example where he finds things to appreciate in that, and I appreciate him for being able to do that, because I can't do that anymore. It's not who I am. But even if people comprehensively remind me to kill my dog, by the way. Yeah, she's gonna fucking die after this video. Even if people look at those old records and they say they're better than my new stuff, as I drift away from like creating popular music sound that I'm just not good at. I can't sit here. I can sit here and do everything that those people do. I just don't do it as good as them, and I don't do it as thoroughly as they do. I can't sit here and write a Favor House Atlantic, right? Because that's just not who I am. Now, I'm not saying I can sit here and write Black Swan, Tom York song, or Atoms for Peace, or Dawn Chorus, or an album like Cotillions by Billy Corgan, or Let It Come Down by James Iyer, or like a Brian Eno record, or Trent Reznor, or even something more simple than that, like Boxcar Racer, or Angels on Airwave. I'm not saying I can do that, but I play to my strengths when I write that instrumental music, and that's I feel way happier doing that. I feel like I create something easily more listenable, and you can hear the change, because for a while during the A Million Reasons Why and into A Million More Reasons, I had created a lot of distance between me and instrumental music because I thought it was unnecessary, and I had good reason for thinking it was unnecessary, because there's a lot of instrumental music exists. I'm not a great musician. I'll never be a great musician. I will practice the rest of my fucking life so long as my arms and legs work, so long as I can hear, right? And I will never even touch the 1% of the 1%, or I will never even touch the upper 50% echelon, probably, in technical capabilities, right? But when it comes to creation, there's no metric for that, there are objectifiable means, there's qualifiable means, but yeah, it's just I was in that headspace, and then I had to break out of it, and I created Astralis after some time, after already creating distance with like Cainozoic and For Lore, these new records, and A Million More Reasons, these newer records where I focus on the emotional intimacy of music, the music behind, instead of the lyrics. And what I mean by that is, I don't mean that in a jazz way. Like the honesty of these drums is incredible. That's fucking stupid shit. That's what mouth breathers say about music. Like, oh, these drums are so honest. It's like, you don't even know what you're fucking talking about. You just wanna you want to wear that Rick and Morty hat about music, you know. Oh, hey guys, I listen to Wesley. Oh, what the hell's his name? Is it Wes Montgomery? Guys, I listen to Wes Montgomery and the Ink Spots. Guys, I'm so fucking cool. Guys, I listen to um Marty Robbins. I'm so cool, right, guys? I'm so niche and different, and interesting. Guys, I need the validation. But no, what I mean by that is I like, you know, when I focus on, you know, slowness, dragging things out, making sure, you know, I give the song room to breathe. Then I gave myself you know, a new lease of life for thinking about how I can write instrumentals that, you know, don't exist within a vacuum. And mixing is a phenomenal thing because I can change the essence of anything I record in a heartbeat, and that power is extremely valuable. And yeah, like a lot of the new stuff that I'm going to come out with, I talk about writing a classical piece over the summer yet. I don't know. I'm going to work on writing a classical piece this summer when I'm not working on the book. It's all I fucking talk about. I don't know if I said that in this video already, but yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna work on a classical piece, and I'm gonna try new things, and they're not all going to go well, and I'm going to have times when I get stuck, and I'm going to have times where I want to make music with lyrics. I'm going to have times where I write something that I want to put, you know, a story behind, and that's natural, man. But yeah, I have aspirations in the realm of contemporary music. You know, I've found a lot of comfort in like goth music recently. I would love to make something goth adjacent, or something, you know, like goth doom or whatever, or not doom, but like doom, or right, or, you know, like Midwest emo of some sorts, or like post hardcore. I would love to do any of that stuff, but it just takes time, and it's not gonna come to me all at once. What the problem I had before when I was generating junk is I would have a bunch of different ideas that I'd try to do at the same time, and it led to me not allocating the proper resources or care to those things, and that's when you get dud records. That's when you get albums that fucking suck. That's when you get like Harvest and Vios and all those early records that they're fucking duds, full of songs that just suck. They just suck, right? And I don't want to do that anymore. That's not who I am. What I would do before, if it was like, oh, I want to make a Midwest emo album, I would change my guitar tuning to like FAC GCE. FAC GCE tuning is probably like more influential than the Beatles. I'm griefing. I'm trolling, but no, I would do something like that. Write some quick, not well thought out, lousily, sloppily played, you know, chord progressions or licks, and it would turn out to be this fucking I don't even know, School of Rock band practicing a song they wrote in 5 minutes ass tune. And that's not good. That's not healthy. It's not healthy for the vacuum of music that exists in an unindustrial sense. It's not something anybody wants to listen to. It's not something I want to listen to. But with Gaia, you have a bunch of imperfect songs that I gave a shit about. I put the time and effort into them, and they are to my satisfaction. And none of them are just like super cut and dry, you know. No, I guess chapter 1 is one track, but you know, I wrote that progression, and I figured out how to play in open G first inversion so I could make something listenable, right? And it's not perfect. I'm sure there's fuck ups in there somewhere, right? Especially if you're being extremely I don't know, highfalutin in your assessment. But it's you know, at least it's not it's at least it's not a dud record, right? So yeah, no more of these fucking dud records, man. I'm done with my wretches and my um frankly self-loathing music about depression and shit. And I cuz that's just not the person I want to be. It's not the person I want to be anymore. I'm okay being depressed. Depression for me isn't, it's not who I am, but the sadness and the comfort I get from being sad helps me be creative. So I will let it abet me in that sort of um sense. But in the same regard, I don't want to fucking do that. I'm okay being sad, but I need to be productive. And that's why I'm starting to like take care of myself and shit, because I want to be a productive member of society. I want to finish this book. I want the second half especially to be good, because that's the promise I made to the people around me. I was like, yeah, the first half can be whatever you want it to be, right? It doesn't have to be good, it doesn't have to be bad. It just exists, right? I want the stories on the second half to be good. And I want my music from here on out. I don't want it to be good in an industrial sense, but I want, and I mean the same thing for the book too, because the book is there. These things don't exist in the industry. They're not sharks in the water trying to compete for prizes or awards or recognition. They exist as vestigial thoughts. They are the sproutlings of my desire. They're my Baumkins, right? Baumchen? Yeah, that'll work. But they are my Baumchen, right? A German word. I don't know if it actually exists. It might mean the word sapling, but it's Baum or Bäume, so that would be like lumber or whatever, like trees plural. So Baum, like tree, and then Shin, which is like where you get the word Mädchen from, like woman. It's das Mädchen, even though it's a woman because the Shin ending. And I think Mädchen is like a contraction of Mädchen or Mädleinen, like woman. Anyway, that's not the point. That's not the point. I'm going off into this thing, but yeah, I want these things that I create to. Yeah, I don't want to make more fucking garbage in this world. I don't want to put time and effort into something that's just a fucking rock to the face. And I'm going to make I'm going to face plant in the future. I'm going to continue to make things that I detest. And I'm going to make things that are like, okay, that's not the best, right? I'm going to fall flat, but I need to slow down on the production of things and volume, and just really hem in on one thing. That's why I write long songs. That's why I like writing long songs, because I have all this room in the world to write a song. And some of my favorite songs that I've written are a result of like me allowing my brain to just think and just compile things on one composition. And that's what Gaia is, dude. Like it's a completion effort. And I mean, that's what a lot of music is, man. People, compel ideas, and they compound ideas, and that's how you get some of the best shit in the world, man. It's like the Police, the band The Police. they were really like that, where they if someone would come in with an idea, they would add on to that. And I know there are a lot of bands like this, but I'm thinking of the Police, like Synchronicity era, where they started off, they really hated each other, and then was it Sting? I think Sting went and talked to George Martin, the Beatles producer, and he like pretty much gave them encouragement to get back together. And yeah, so they would just, that's how they wrote songs for Synchronicity. That was, someone would bring an idea and then they would just add upon that. And you know, there is a checklist of things I want to accomplish. I want to make a really deep, dark record with, you know, with stories to tell on it. And that's where the compilation of storytelling comes from and is extremely important. You know, I want to write songs about shit that's real, right? Yeah, that's just part of who I am. I like expressions of the real world. I also want to make a jazz record, and I want to make a jazz record and have it be me. I I'm gonna spend probably the next like 4 or 5 years learning how to play the drums, and I want to learn how to be a jazz drummer, but that's going to take time and that needs to wait. I want to record that punk album. I want to make a true emo record, and like I've made some like Dashboard Confessional stuff in the past, but I mean, I want more than just me and a guitar eventually. I want to write songs with solos. I want like minutes of solos. I'm not like Joe Satriani, but I want something with feel. I want like some David Gilmour's perfect example. Why am I not using David Gilmour? I want these like comfortably numb like things, not in quality because they'll never be that in quality, but just like the ethos behind that. And yeah, I have a lot of ideas, and it goes on beyond music. I want to make a film someday. I don't, maybe not like a long film, but do like a short film. I want to write a novel someday. I want to write a real novel someday. I want to write something that's like 40 to 70,000 words. You know, and I want to get academic publications. I want to do all these things. Um I want to get sufficient at math. I've been teaching myself calculus and things like that. I want to get good at integral and differential calculus. I want to get really good at utilizing number theory and arithmetic. I want to better understand the formulas that build the world around us, or I guess it'd be vice versa. But I'm a person with aspirations now. I'm not cool being like, oh well, I could just die any day, so I'm just gonna do what I can, learn what I can. No, it's like I want to get out. I want to become a doctor. I want to become a doctor in the philosophy of language. I want to consume as much information as I can. And not be okay with what I know. I never want to become complacent in my epistemology, right? I like knowing where words come from, and there's so many words, and there's so many ideas, and there's so many concepts that are globe spanning, and there's so many names that I'll just never be okay with it, but I can't stop. I can't fall flat because it's daunting, right? So yeah, there's gonna be no more of this loose leaf attempt at trying to compile things, right? If I'm gonna make something from now on, I'm gonna put everything I can into it, and that's just the way it needs to be. And hey, that's okay. And yeah, so that's what I've got for you. Overall, um, yeah, that's it. If I do make a short film, I'll probably upload it here. This is kind of like where I'm doing things. I want to make gaming videos again too at some point, but I don't know how I'm going to do that for the time being. But it's not the point. I'll figure things out. I like these talking videos, but I need to start doing scripted content, especially if I want it to be more, I don't know, digestible. And yeah, I need to start writing loose outlines. It's just my reading skills aren't really, like, my reading out loud skills aren't that good. Like, I don't know. And the more I'm reading, the better I am with words, but reading out loud is so difficult for me because I'm so awkward and my delivery is terrible. Like, when I read books in a foreign language, I've got Carmen Laforet's Nava, right? And I read a lot of it, like, to myself in my head, and I burnt through it. But when I was reading it out loud, it would take me minutes to get through a short page. So that's difficult for me. So if I can create like an outline of what I want to talk about, and I can create like good like 10-minute sections, I can make like 40-minute long videos that are more or less what I want them to do. And I'd love to do an audiobook of Galaxis when it comes out. But there's so many things in there that, like, I don't know, my literary mind and my speaking mind are always at war with each other because I try to write like I try to speak like I write instead of the other way around like a lot of people do. But I, when it comes to typing and texting and things like that, I'm so much more articulate. I could text right now. I could text and have a conversation with anybody in the German language, so long as it was text-based. I'd fumble over some words, but if I was having a speaking conversation, my dialogue in any language, even English, is horrible. And the reason I can do something like this is because I've been practicing for so fucking long. Like, and like I'm old enough now to where I don't need to watch my mouth, and I'm not at risk of saying anything stupid or stupid enough that would, like, I don't know, raise serious eyebrows. I made a joke about killing my dog earlier. If you think I would ever hurt an animal, you're just stupid. And I've made jokes on this channel that, you know, haven't aged the best or are not the best reflection of self, but if you get a comprehensive idea of me as a bad person through my videos, you're watching the wrong videos and you're just not picking up things. I'm a person that has tremendous respect for all people, and, you know, realizing that, and as I've made these videos over time about how people, like, interact with the world around them and what they think of things like culture and identity, I've become more comfortable talking about it. But I also realize that everyone is just living their life, you know, trying to get by. And what this has to do with me speaking is, it's like, I realize I'm also just one of these people. So I can't be afraid to put the wrong thing out there, because to the right person, everything I say is fucking God's gracious, you know, divine word, and to the wrong person, everything I say is horrible. And, you know, those little nitpicky things I just, you know, I can't get hung up on. And yeah, so I've been trying to work on public speaking, I guess speaking to the public, trying to eliminate filler words, trying to be more intentional with vocabulary, trying to enrich my vocabulary, and yeah. But this is what I've got for you this video. Expect something like it in the future. I would love to make all sorts of videos. I think I've talked about this in recent videos past, where the types of videos I want to make. I would love to talk about languages. I'd love to make a video about Galician or not Castilian, Catalan, things like that, or Welsh, or Pictish, Scots English, Manx, things like that. Talk about Norman French, the evolution of French, things like that. I would love to make videos about all these sorts of things, but those are the videos that take time, and the videos I really need to script, because I do not want to fuck them up. partially because I risk being offensive when I talk about language and I say the wrong thing, and because I'm not a native speaker, so any mistake I make is amplified by 100. If I was talking about the English language and I was making a mistake, I'm a native speaker, so it's like dirt over the shoulder, I guess, to an extent. But if I'm talking about a language like Spanish, then I need to not dance with potentially incorrect information. And I'm also not, like, I'm not ethnically Spanish at all. Like, German, I have a huge German background ethnically, so there's that. And well, I mean, I guess this is true of Spanish too. I've been dabbling in these languages for long enough that it's not, I don't know, I don't feel uncomfortable, and making mistakes is so natural. But if I was doing a language like Romanian, then, you know, I've been studying Romanian for like less than half a year, so yeah, I just need to be careful. But yep, that's all I've got for you. Thank you for listening. Toodaloo.